Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. With the grooming gang's inquiry now confirmed, it's been revealed how many times Labour have spoken out on the matter against having an inquiry and the reasons why or whatever, and all these sort of the BS that they spout in order to avoid having the inquiry that will show how involved the Labour Party has been over the years in covering up these terrible, terrible crimes. With the Prime Minister currently away hiding in China, now's a good time, I think, to remind people of things he and others in the Labour Party have said. In January, Starmer said that calling for a national inquiry was jumping on a bandwagon, he said, and it was amplifying what the far right is saying. He said, "We have seen this playbook many times, whipping up of intimidation and threats of violence, hoping that the media will amplify it. Those who are spreading lies and misinformation as far and wide as possible are not interested in victims, they're interested in themselves." Interesting that he pushes that agenda, isn't it? Oh, people asking for the inquiry must be far right. He's now given the inquiry, so presumably Keir Starmer now describes himself as far right and vicious. Interesting. The fat man, Lammy, said, "We've already had a national inquiry." That was a lie. No, we haven't. He said, "And I think that the Prime Minister was right earlier in the week to really call to mind the facts, the truth, and to call out all those who are putting forward mistruths in this area." The people putting out the mistruths, of course, are Labour. Starmer, again in January, said that a national inquiry will delay things to 2031. No, they won't. And that we already know what the major flaws are. Yes, socialists, Labour Party who like children to be abused so that they can maintain a vote from a certain demographic. Yvette Cooper said, also in January, "Effective local inquiries can delve into far more local detail and deliver more locally relevant answers and change than a lengthy nationwide inquiry can provide." And again, that's bullshit, because a lot of authorities don't have the money for an inquiry. Inquiries cost a lot of money, and by pushing it down to the local level, you're basically saying to the council, you've got to pay for this. They won't because they can't, and so they don't. And she knows it. That disgusting, odious harridan, Jess Phillips, also said in January, "I don't need to wait for a national inquiry to tell me there are people who should have lost their jobs, people who should probably go to prison." I'm presuming, Jess, you were looking in the mirror when you were saying that. Another horrible, horrible woman, potentially a crook, allegedly, Bridget Phillipson, also said the Conservative amendment to call for a national inquiry was shameful and would have stopped vital child protection measures in the bill. Really? I don't think so. What's shameful is not having the inquiry. She then called the calls for a national inquiry grabbing a cheap headline and political opportunism. Oh yes, never mind the victims, never mind the 100,000 maybe victims of child rape. Oh yes, it's a cheap headline. This is the mindset of the Labour Party. The little bad news monkey, Lisa Nandy, said, "The truth is that we are listening to victims and authorities around the country about the need to give them the right tools to tackle it. This is a very pernicious problem in their own areas." By own, you mean Labour, in Labour areas, yeah? And then Lucy Powell, oh yes, we know about that. That was the dog whistle comment, for which she went, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry." As though that actually meant anything. Yeah, you see, I think Starmer needs to come back and be questioned specifically. Not as part of PMQs where he stands there and pretends like, "Oh, I'm really clever, I'm not answering your question." And the way he does and doesn't answer questions. He needs to actually come back and face a committee under oath. And certainly when the committee goes, when this inquiry starts, he needs to be dragged there under oath. And anyone who fails to give comprehensive and full answers needs to be held in contempt and jailed. presumably for 10 days, thus meaning there's a recall petition, and thus they can all get oot. Tell me what you think. Thanks very much. Goodbye.